All right, collectors, back with another Versus video. This time we have the Sideshow premium format. This one came out in 2025, I think, and this is the second premium format. They had one with a fabric cape and not cape, fabric jacket, and then they had the maquette, not a premium format, which is the one she's flying, which is the one that kind of looks like Angelina Jolie or Fergie or whatever, and that one's really good. And then this was the third one, Rogue, that they made, aside from the Comiquette, but this one's quarter scale, and this one's fully sculpted. And then on the right, we have the XM Rogue that was recently done. So for Versus, we're going to start at the bottom, and let's just kind of go into each base. And each base is essentially a similar concept. It's a destroyed sentinel. I'm assuming they're different parts. I would think that the Rogue, the Sideshow Rogue, is the chest of the sentinel, whereas the XM, it could be a chest area. This kind of looks like I was saying in my review, that this could be like the shoulder or something. So maybe this is like, part of the chest or the back or whatever. But if we're looking at both of them in terms of who did the base better, and if it's a Sentinel base, while the Sideshow one is good, if you have it, I think the XM is clearly a winner here in terms of the base. It's just there's a lot more detail in the XM base compared to the Sideshow, and the paint app is just much better with the XM. So, if you were, wanting to, what's the wow factor, I guess, with the XM versus Sideshow? It's strictly the XM. And here we go. Now we go to Rogue herself. Now, this is where it's a bit more subjective. So, they both clearly went with different concepts. Rogue, Sideshow Rogue is mainly like comic book, I would say, animated series look for Rogue, whereas the XM Rogue went with a very realistic look. So as you can see, like if you were to just pick it straight from the comics, obviously the Sideshow Rogue would be more comic accurate than the XM Rogue. Her costume looks more like latex, like she's wearing a latex suit, and it's very comic booky. Some realism there with the dirtiness of the boots and stuff since she's in battle. But Rogue, let's see, the XM Rogue, obviously it has very realistic boots with the zippers, different textures in her costume. So, if you're looking at realism and, you're not too interested in like comic book look, I would go for the XM. For me, I find it hard. I would say I prefer the realism of the XM design choice for Rogue's costume as opposed to the Sideshow one. So let's try to zoom into her coat as well for both of these. Let's see, how about that? So like if you look at her coat, the Sideshow one, let's go over here, let's turn it around so you can kind of clearly see it. The sculpt is very good. It's a very shiny type of leather look. There's not really much texture on it. We can try to zoom into the arm here. Give me a sec. So you'll see the stitches over there with the button and stuff. So, it does have some details to it, but overall, the coat itself is very smooth. It has like a smooth look, even though there's wrinkles everywhere. So it's very smooth. There's like not a lot of texture to the actual leather itself. It's just like a shiny leather. And then obviously because of her switch outs, you can kind of see they hid the seam line pretty well. But you can tell it's in the arm right there. But so you have that kind of look where it's smooth. Where the flaps are here, I mean, little bit like more wrinkles to make it look like leather right there. And here you go. That's a really good shot of her face. I mean, it didn't come out well last time. But yeah, so here we go, that arm right here. Now if we go to the XM, so very different design choice here. So, oh my gosh, I forget the XM is very difficult to turn since she's really heavy. So here we go. The jacket is more muted. So there we go. The jacket is more muted, but you have zippers there, which I don't even see that the Sideshow had. Sideshow could be buttons. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, you can clearly see the zipper on the XM. You have a little X symbol there on the flap right here. That's really cool. And then here in the front, you still have little X symbols there. So the coat, I don't know. I mean, I'm really torn. I like how the Sideshow one, it's just like a brown, like it looks like a brand new coat. This one looks a bit weathered, but it has more realism to it, of the type of coat she's wearing. Coat she's wearing. Like even there's a zipper right there for like her pockets. You can see the button, a little button at the bottom, and then we'll go to the back. You have a lot more wrinkles to it, and there's just texture overall on the coat. Whereas the Rogue from Sideshow, there's wrinkles, but it's just, again, that flat look. I'm just talking about this just to go over like the actual sculpt detail. I mean, again, I would probably, I don't know, I'm conflicted on which one I like more, whether I like the realism of the XM in terms of the coat or just like the brightness and fullness of the Sideshow one. Now, in terms of switch outs, the XM, I believe, wins on this one. You have this switch out where she is using a combination of Colossus and Wolverine's powers. You have the card where she's charging up the card, even though I think it was poorly executed. And then you have the last switch out. Last arm switch out, which is where she's tearing apart part of the Sentinel. Kind of goes there. So, I mean, that one looks really cool as well. And then you have the smirking portrait for Rogue. And whereas the Sideshow, you have her taking off her glove, and then you have her hands clasping together, so there's two switch out for the Sideshow. So overall, XM wins in terms of number of switch outs, but they usually do. They usually put a lot of switch outs in there. But I would really only use two, either this arm here or the other arm where she's ripping the Sentinel. The second portrait, I'm not using the Gambit one. They're both in the box. I mean, I don't think they were very well done. So in terms of switch outs, XM wins again. Now, here we go with the portraits. So I'll zoom in, and then I'll do like I'll take off both heads. But you can see here, the Sideshow one is just a beautiful portrait. I mean, people complained about it, but I think it's a really good portrait. It's one of their better ones. I mean, it has a realistic look. She has a little dimple, whereas the XM, it's good. It's a good portrait, but it's just plain. It's like I was saying in my review. It's above average, especially for XM, since they typically do like these blank expressions. But this one, she does look serious. It is very good, but I think the clear winner in terms of portraits is Sideshow. Now, give me 1 second. So also in terms of the design, I mean, there are also very different interpretations of Rogue. So the Sideshow one, again, like I was saying, it's more anime series, but she is very curvy. I mean, she's, really caked out, right? I mean, like, look at her, glute area. I mean, she's very full. She has that hourglass look to her. She's very, very curvy up into her small waist, and then again, she's bigger up top, right? So I mean, the Sideshow went for a very curvy Rogue, whereas the XM, they went for a more fit Rogue. She looks like she's like shredded and stuff. She's just very fit. I mean, her legs and stuff, like, we can go around again. It just shows her musculature here, in her, right there, and then her glutes are not as big. I mean, she just looks like she's more toned and just a fit body type. So it's just different preferences, different interpretations they went, and obviously it makes sense, right? XM went for they went for a more action pose, whereas Sideshow, did a museum pose, right? And they're almost in a very similar position. One leg down and then one leg bent. But you could see Rogue is just much curvier in Sideshow's sculpt than XM's. I mean, you can tell by their legs here. I mean, Sideshow Rogue just has really thick legs, curvier backside. Overall, it's just really thick, right? So, and let's go to her front, and obviously the best area in the XM is not as much as the Sideshow one. They both, have definition here in their abdomen, but XM's just looks, like leaner. So yeah, just different things that, like, what do you? So that's like another question that you should ask yourself if you're in the market for one of these two Rogues: is what would you prefer Rogue to look like? She's been drawn both ways in the comics, shredded and curvy. So it's just, what would you want in your Rogue? So for me, I do like the curvy look over the XM's more like, leaner look. But yeah, just again, matter of preference. So here's the Sideshow portrait. And again, like, I mean, I think it looks really good. And see, now it's not giving that like pinkish look. I think I just have the statues placed differently, so it's not giving that pink look that it was in like photographs that I was doing. But this is a really good portrait. I mean, look at that. And you have a little dimple there on the side. I mean, she looks like this could be a real person, whereas the XM, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's good. It is a good portrait. I mean, she's serious and stuff, but it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, if I was looking at both of these, the Sideshow is a clear winner in terms of portraits. It just looks more realistic, and it's just a better portrait of what statue companies are doing now. Especially like Prime One Studios, their portraits are usually very good. Sideshow females are awesome. Some custom groups have made awesome female portraits, and everyone's just going to the more realistic look. So like whenever I see like a very basic one, I'm kind of turned off by it, because I mean, they should be doing the realistic ones by now. So yeah, clear winner is Sideshow. All right, now, so for the final part, I just did the switch outs, the ones that I'm using. So here, XM, she's ripping out a piece of the Sentinel, and then the Sideshow is doing, her fist. She's clamping her fist. So overall, I would say the base XM, the details of the statue, again, XM wins on that. Concept, both have really the same concept. It's just what your preference is. I mean, I would probably call it even, because you have the XM, which is a more dynamic one pose, and she's ripping it. It's an action pose, whereas the Sideshow one, it's more of a museum pose, like she's posing for a picture. Either one, whether she's clasping her fist or pulling off her glove. Paint application, I would say, in terms of the base, XM has a better paint application. In terms of Rogue herself, it's pretty even. I would say it's pretty even. I mean, I wouldn't want to give it one or the other. It's just what your preference is. The Sideshow Rogue is more vibrant. Like she pops more. I mean, I think you can see it on the video. Like the green pops more, the yellow pops more, the browns and her coat pop. Her face, is really well painted. Like again, like right now in the video, I mean, it kind of looks pinkish, but you saw earlier when I was under different lighting in the room that it's not like that in reality. The and whereas the XM, the paint is more muted. I mean, I would say for my preference, I would go for the vibrancy of the Sideshow Rogue because most of my pieces are comic book. So I like the brightness of it. Like when you come into a room and you see it, it's not all muted, colors. It's very bright, very comic booky. Now, Face Sculpt Sideshow is a clear winner. Now, overall, say that if you're looking for one rogue, you only have room for one rogue in your collection, then I think the winner overall would be the XM Rogue, even though the face sculpt is not as good. Just because it just has more going for it. I mean, the colors on the base are better. The base is better. The realism of the costume is amazing, especially like when you get in these higher scales like quarter scale and stuff. You kind of want to have the detail that a quarter scale would show. Whereas the Sideshow one, it's very basic. It's the latex look. It's very comic booky. And it's something that you would probably get that amount of detail in like a Bowen Designs piece, a 1/7 or 1/6 scale piece, where they typically don't put a lot of detail in those. Well, the Bowens were a lot older too, and they were strictly comic book look. I mean, I know Iron Studios does a lot of detail in theirs, but generally, smaller scales go for a more comic book kind of look. So in terms of a quarter scale, I would have liked to have more detail, but if you're looking strictly as comic book, then Rogue is perfect out of the comic book. So if you were to go with one Rogue and you only have one Rogue in your collection, I would go for the XM. But in terms of my collection, I mean, I'm happy to have both. I mean, the XM Rogue was so cheap with that deal, so I'm keeping both. But if I had to choose one to pick, I would go for the Sideshow one, and that's just my personal preference. So it's collect what you like. It's not what other people like, right? And so for my collection, with the space I have, and I have a lot more museums, I would say, than action poses, I would stick with the Sideshow Rogue. I mean, the colors pop. It doesn't take up much space, and the face sculpt is fantastic. But since I do have some space right now, and I'm getting a module case soon, I'm probably going to get 2 more module cases eventually to go on top of the Max 140. Then I'm keeping both. But for me, I would choose the Sideshow Rogue. But if you're looking for a Rogue in your collection and you want, if you're not too concerned with it looks like a comic book, I mean, the XM, it does maintain that comic book look. It's just, it has the texture and everything to it that a quarter scale should have, just a little bit more detail. And I would just go for the XM. But again, both great Rogues to have. And thanks for watching.